Good evening, people. Welcome into Wise Up TV for this evening's club rooms. It's great to have everyone in and making their way in this evening as we go into the finals week. And a massive week we have ahead of us, people. Do or die. Week one is the part of the footy season that we all love, September. Earth, Wind and Fire, you know what I mean? Do you remember the 21st of September? You know, we love September footy. So let's get that going. But big up everyone in the chat. Bailey, my man Inspector is in here. GT. Here we go. Finals time, Lady and Sean, my man, got my ticket. Did you get tickets, Levi? No, I haven't got one of those memberships yet. I will try and go and go into the public tomorrow, see how I go. I'll try to get bang on that. It might be sold out by then, but we'll see how we go. Fish going to end the dynasty, bring a tear to my eye, man. Let's hope so. Josh Max, WTV, what's up, bro? Finals time, need to find out big time. I'm confident the boys can do it at home. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight, people. We're going to talk about that. All about the finals, but shout out to Fish for the fastest try in NRL history. Yeah, that was crazy. Look, man, I've reflecting on that last game, I I didn't really want to reflect on it. The Eagles game. I don't think we should take too much out of it. I mean, you can, because it all ties in with the last probably 7 to 8 weeks of the footy we've been playing. So definitely you can take that in. But there's something that Webby said in a little snippet that they gave us from the changing rooms, is that it's a new season, it's a new opportunity. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like, this is our chance now to go and do something to show them what we've got, to play our best footy. And in many instances, yeah, chuck away the ending of that end of season. Yes, it plays a factor into how you're trending, but this is where you start to just, what you've put together all year, you need to find your feet. You need to find what you're made of, and this is it. Do or die, sudden death at home, which is massive for me. It's at home, and see what we can prove. So, in many instances, the slate is wiped clean, 0-0. 80 minutes away from moving on to the next challenge. It is against the 4-time premiership winning Panthers, so we'll get into that. But at the same time, we've got an opportunity. If you ask at the end of this year, would you rather finish 9th, and not play finals footy, or would you rather finish sixth and play finals footy and get knocked out against the Penrith Panthers? Always take that second option, always, because you just want to see what can happen in that moment. Finals footy, it always has amazing games. Nearly every finals footy match that we've played in has had a moment or two. I think was it in 2018 we played the Panthers in that Kearney year, and we had a moment. I think we might have started red hot. I can't remember exactly. If anyone in the chat can, then we lost. They came home strong, the Panthers, but there was a moment there. You go through all the classics of the 02, the 03, 2008. We know the 1v8 Melbourne. We know the 2011 Melbourne. You know, 23 Knights, 23 Broncos without the Tom Brady. Might have been a different story. Any finals footy game we play, it's a massive moment in history. Even think of some of the most gut wrenching ones. Was it Gold Coast Titans versus the Roosters 23 or 22? With Patrick Herbert held and should have given the pass. There's moments in finals footies matches that you'll just never forget. So either way, I'm just looking for an epic. At the end of the day, I'm hoping it's an epic. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping it's a win. So it's a new season. Let's see what we've got and let's give it a real good crack. Yeah, man, we need to front up. All about the finals, but shout out to the Fish for the fastest try in NRL history. Yeah. Actually, Bailey, yeah, if you can, man, can you message that to me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you can? I'll buy my tickets tonight if I could, but appreciate that. If I can use that code, send it to me on Instagram at Wise Up on Facebook as well. Or yeah, wherever you can find me if you're in the in the Discord, message me there, bro. But yeah, bro, I would love to. I'm keen to buy. I thought I'd just wait that out, but if I can buy it now, I will. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that sense. I just agree in the terms of the footy that we were playing. It's just not a good quality footy at the moment. But Sean, you're bang on. SJ said it. I love the sentiment. I love that the club came out and said that this morning. Look, people like me, I was even getting really upset with the Sea Eagles game, and I realize now, I was like wipe the slate clean. Let the guys have an opportunity and treat it as such. You know, Tamale or Tanner, DWZ or Tane. Let's get into that soon. I just want to get through everyone else's comment, then we might go towards that area. Playing conservative will not win this game. We need to throw everything at them, and it either works or at least we had a crack chance to center or Capes Pro. We'll have a talk. Soon. I just want to get through everyone, see if that's the focus of the. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I hope everyone actually had a great. I had an amazing Father's Day, so I'm very grateful. He needs to play, so going a bit left field here, but leaning into non-conservative play. I dropped Tanner Boyd, moves to Mighty Smith, Mighty Martin. Go out with a bang. Okay, Bailey, thank you very much. I'll check that later and I'll purchase. You're a very kind person. Appreciate you, Bailey. Giants struggled off the cost. They also one fourth the last 4 weeks. That's a real chance if we don't beat ourselves. Silly errors, poor. Yeah, it has cost us one game all in. Luke, if you got one, man, let me know. I can buy it off you. Happy to do whatever, bro. If you got a few spare, probably just looking for two, myself and maybe one other if they come. But yeah, message me on Insta or anywhere, bro. Really do appreciate that. Okay, let's get into this topic because I did have a quick look at one of the reels that bloke in a bar said and Beak said about we need to just go throw it all out there, and there's some truth to that. We know we've been playing a conservative model all year. It's paid dividends, but the numbers don't lie. We are one of the lowest scoring teams in the comp. At least in the top eight, we're in our points differential. We're not super high in terms of point scoring. Now, point scoring isn't everything. Defense probably has probably been the best reflection of our year, that our defense has held solid for the majority, when we've had the best available squad, and we've gotten home on either set plays, crossfield bombs, a Leka X Factor try. And because we've limited teams points wise, that's been enough to get us home. It probably since you probably say that defense has dropped off, um, with the inclusion of Tanner Boyd. And I'm not blaming him, but when he kind of came in and other injuries came about, teams started to pile on the points. And we still haven't yet, as an offense, really tick the gears and done it to a team that can match us physically in the forwards. So there's the argument that, look, you can't outgrind Penrith, right? Full-time premiership winners. What's the reality of grinding it out? If you could, um, and you pulled it off, then absolutely. But trying to look at the likelihood, the probabilities of pulling it off. Um, my That's where I'm thinking, can we actually do it that way, or do we just go and throw it out there? Like, people will say, you still need a long kicking game. I just argue that what's the point in a long kicking game right now, um, when the long kicking game against teams that have chosen to outgrind us have beaten us? So I'll go back to Tanner Boyd and the long kicking game and all that. If you actually look at the numbers and detail of it, um, his record could actually have been 2-6 or 2-7. If you take out the Knights game, where Licker pulled off one of the greatest miracles I've ever seen. If you take out the Dragons game, which they had 3 HIAs, and not saying we couldn't have won that, but that did help a lot. The actual reality is that with the long kicking grinded out style, now you don't have a Rocco Berry to kind of do that kick chase. You got a lot of other missing pieces, um, that that kind of style has given us a 2-7 record. So that's just to be on the negative side, on the kind of saying, well, the long kicking game, with this current team and pack, hasn't necessarily led to wins. So I'm only saying, in the context of this current team, do you want to go and use a Tanner Boyd and play a long kicking game and still lose, 26-12 or something like that? Or do you throw it, just go all guns blazing with a tomato, something totally different out the bag, a bit more offloading type game, support play game. I want to get into that a bit too. Or do you do it? You find a balance of it. Maybe you change the halves at halftime if the game's close and you open the game up. Or I just think trying to play conservative hasn't necessarily meant, um, wins. You know, the style we play works when we're the dominant four pack, or that everyone's fit and healthy. We're just not a fit and healthy team right now. So I'm just saying, is the long kicking game and the grind style just inevitable that it just won't produce? So those are some of the questions to think about. Um, if you pick Tamari, then you probably need Tane for goal kicking. Well, I'd probably go Pompey personally. I think Pompey does a decent job, but there is that element. Um, um, the other one would be to name Luke and Barney in the lineup to. That would be a surprise, wouldn't it? There's nothing really against Tanner with a full strength pack. It's a different story, but we can't match the Panthers in their own game. We just have to have a crack in tomorrow as high upside and say that too. Yeah, it's not a like I think personally, if Tanner Boyd has a dominant pack, he can lead people around the park. I've got no issue with him leading people around the park. It's just that when you're not in having a dominant pack, and you're kind of going through the fate. Like, for me, he doesn't do any. I haven't seen him really throw a cutout ball since the end of the match against when Dallin scored in that Manly game. So he doesn't have any risky adverse passing game to him. He doesn't have um, he kind of goes into his shell a little bit at times. But when the platform's good, it's fantastic. I think we just got to say the platform isn't the greatest right now. And maybe you need to add in a few variables to just kind of mix it up. Um, but that's kind of the argument for not having for Tanner. I think Tanner's like more of a game manager type. He is what he is. He does his job well. He goes deep in the line as well when he does. But there's also the argument that you could probably use him and to Mighty as a halves pairing. Use their cup experience a bit more expansive. If you remember the Dolphins game, they were really moving it around the park a bit more. So there's that element too, where then you can push CHT to a 14. I don't think in particular CHT has done anything super. He's been fantastic within the structure, but again, I'm just trying to think of ways to break the mold, break out of the structure, so that we're not so predictable. So it's kind of those catch-22s. What's your game plan? Do you want to just throw it all out there and see what happens, or do you want to just go conservative and know that you'll lose that way? It's that's kind of how I see it. Going to need discipline, limit errors to minimum. Defense is going to have to be better than ever as well in such a case. That like we'll have to play that grinded out style if we're going to go that way to another level, to an elite level without errors. Um, the other thing is too that Lecker, we need X factor players, so Lecker's going to have to play a big part in this as well. We're going to need some moments from him. And Manly, Penrith aren't unbeatable. But it's just they bring that experience with them that they just know they're gonna like tap into that and just go to another level. Where at the moment, I saw Tanner Smith struggle in that first half. Fish isn't in the best of form, and we've got Maratas and Kate Wells who are good workers, but you're going to match it up against a Liam Martin. Physically match it up with this Isaiah Yo. Leota is going to come and bring his all. So they got so much strike in terms of just grind and graft type guys. So those are some of the things to think about. Checking our available players, those who have played down to Tane, Bunty, MGT, and Kossi Gwebe can't be considered. Well, there you go. There might be, you have to throw it out there and give it a crack. Short answer for me is no. I personally believe we will need to risk it all. We also need a biggish lead. Our defense is an issue still. Yeah, there's some elements to be had there. If there's a week to have faith in our system, it is this week's team. You need the cattle too, Tahi, to play that style. If we're missing a center in terms of Rocco Berry, we know how much struggle Dallin's had with a dodgy edge or center with him. Capewell out there against a Casey McLean. Can you see that going well? As Inspector said, Casey McLean will probably tear up now that Rocco Berry is not there. Eddie, yeah, I hope Eddie, feel for Eddie. Is it a forearm or shoulder? I'm hoping he's okay, but he would have been great right now. But yeah, we're really low on troops. At DWZ, Berry will have changed. I'm leaning towards Tane Lecker at this point. Tane Lecker, I think T-Mac will get found out just because they haven't worked together. Lecker sits on his leads as well a little bit in terms of he's just not used to them. So that goes back to your point. We just have to throw the cat amongst the pigeons and just see where things land. And Weber goes nuts and does some left field selections for this game. No conservative for this game. As you leave all or nothing. Like there's a fine line, isn't there? Like I'm saying, if you can bank on because I just want to go back to the first half discussion. In the last couple of weeks, we've been getting destroyed in the first half. Like teams are putting on 20, 24 points on us in the first half. Um, we seem to come back stronger in the second. It's just what I go back as far as the Knights game. The Knights bombed 3 or 4 tries, and we were sitting in a good spot going into halftime. Um, the Dragons bombed 3 or 4 tries. I'm trying to think of nearly every game we have leaked a lot of points in that first half. My question would be, can you get into like a 12-10 ball game at halftime? Somehow you just really knuckle down and play conservative and grind it out, and you're not leaking points at a high clip. If you could do that, then you can start to open up, and then you've built the platform. In the second half you come home strong. Just at the moment, there's no bet that we can slow teams down in that first half. Like literally every team, the Sea Eagles, Eels, everyone that we've played recently have either bomb tries or they could have had a dominant first half against us. So it's one of those things where if we can stop the bleeding in the first half, then maybe we go to the second half and we go expensive and we have enough tools to get us home. I'm really concerned. Like I really want to. For me, the key would to be go into first half 2 points down at halftime. Then for me is then it's game on. It comes down to who can be the most or who can create something. And then there's the chance that the Liquor might be there. There's a chance that a Tamaida can be there or Sam Healy can create something. So there's a lot to think about. Um, yeah, man. TSS gas bad. Yeah, he did. Yeah, and now we've got Jacko coming in, so that will be another factor to weigh in, which is great. He's probably fresh and ready to go. Same argument for me. I'd start Liquor and just go for it. I like Liquor off the bench, but we need the game breakers, new coordinator, forward middles. TSS misses out for me. Got exposed a bit last week. Yeah, that's another one. You could go Liquor early, and maybe you get a try or two. And you're in a halftime. You're in a ball game that you can. For me, it's all about getting to halftime, and it's a 14-10 ball game or a 12-10 like that. We can't go into halftime with a 20-6 halftime score. And that's the beauty of it, guys. We're playing it. This is a new competition, and Webby can actually game plan for this. He knows Penrith. He's come up against Penrith for the last 5 or 6 years, five or six games over the 3-4 years. He got over them at Magic Round last year. He, he's had a few losses to them as well, but he knows Ivan. He'll know what Ivan will be preaching. He can actually come up with the game plan. And yes, it might throw them a curveball because we don't have all the players that they know and can follow. Maybe you chuck in a Tane in there. There's so much that you can kind of gamble on to try and put variables in this match to just throw something at them that they haven't seen. TMM 610 is 7 CHT 14 Liquor the Ricker Center youth. I mean, it could be. It could very well be. You know, I just it's something it's tricky. And I think, we will have that to fall back on. That the injuries were just too much to overcome. But I just want to give it a red hot crack. I would hate for us to just play conservative and we lose 30-12. And we had a high completion. We kicked well, but I'd rather just give it a crack and see where we fall. Let's see where the chips fall. Be disappointing if we lost playing conservative, knowing that gameplay would be a losing one. Yeah, it's something that we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Pompey would have to go over and deal with Casey McLean. He would actually have to, and that will help Dallin a bit as well. Sanity's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We're not playing well regardless of results. Just have to go for it. Yeah, might have to be. Hey, Tons, good to see you. I did watch Panther game. They are beatable. They tend to drop off at times. Using a boxing term here, I give us the puncher's chance. Well, there you go. There are opportunities, and that's where you have to seize those moments, and you have to have the players to seize them. I'm asking for tomorrow, but I believe Tanner could do it. But for me, Tanner, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it now. I want to see, what he has in terms of clutchness or in terms of his ability right now in finals. because this is potentially a guy that could be starting for us next year up until Metcalf gets back. So we want to kind of support him to being the starting half next year. If he goes and does it, fantastic. But I've just from what I've seen of the last 7 or 8 weeks, his record could have actually been 2-7 right now. Um, so it doesn't speak as though it's like he could do it at this level. So maybe you just throw a curveball to Mighty, who got 16 assists in what 6 or 7 games last year. And to be fair, it would be tough on Tamata just to go in without having been playing 7 for a long time. But it's all we've got right now. CHT, I can't see him doing anything super creative. Egan's probably the key in terms of he'll have to have a massive game. But yeah, I think Webby dies on his sword, and to be fair, he's had success. I just can't see many changes despite wanting to see it. His whole philosophy is backing players. He'll hit, yeah. Well, the thing is, the truth of the matter is that when we've tried to play that conservative style, other teams have come to us and outplayed us at conservative style. Titans, Dolphins, Eels, all the good kicking halves have come here and actually done the same to us. What's to stop the Panthers from pretty much doing identical to what they've done? And those were lower teams, and this is the full-time Premiership Panthers, and doing exactly the same and outgrinding us. I mean, even the Panthers did it to us without their starting halves. Outgrinded us at their own, well, they're technically their own game, and we try to match it. So, is there inevitability that if you just keep repeating the same thing from what the numbers show of the last couple of weeks? Yeah, it does. A bench of Healy, Vaimong, or Ford EIT could swing the. Oh, it could very well. It could very well do that. Hey, Licky, it's do or die. We need to switch on from the get go and stay disciplined. Can't give them easy meters. Nerves are real. Yeah, we and part of the issue has been that we've just been killing ourselves. We've been killing ourselves right now. So we have to um, do all those things. You know what I mean? Jet Cleary. Well, I saw Jet has actually been. Has he been training or he's been trying to mimic what Ivan does? Um, you know, and can yell at Ivan the whole game. Do you want to hurt your youngest boy? Do a ransom. Should we ransom Jet? Have him locked up in a corner of Mount Smart somewhere and say we're going to drop him off the roof if he don't let us win this game. Something like a rush hour. Was Rush Hour 2 when was it Rush Hour the first one? They kidnapped the girl and they say, what was it? I want 5 million. I want 5 million and 50, 20 million, 20, and 10 million, 10. And he goes, "Who do you think you are, Chelsea Clinton?" That was a that was a good movie of Rush Hour. Sorry, guys. Sorry, the sidetrack there. All of it's just me or Vaimong have been looking a bit off late. Yeah, he's probably just hitting a wall. Vaimong would be another one. But like again, this is honestly, this is the go time where Fish has got to lift this team up. And we're not saying Fish has to win this game; that they are the favorites. But we want to see a fight. We want to see a dog fight. We want to see a finals footy game where we fight to the end, and that might mean Fish has to play 60 minutes, or he might have to motivate and get these Demetrics and the likes up for this game. They've been building, like Webby said it in his post match to the boys, like, this is it. This is the moment we've been building for. Let's play our footy. I'm disagreeing with him, saying, look, you got to change your footy up. But if they believe in themselves so much that they can get it done, we'll show it to us. And we as fans will be there. We'll back them all the way. You know what I mean? So, let's do that. Both players will have no issue coming here. We'll feel like home and away from. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another question. Do we have the extra players to play off the cup? I don't think so right now, too. And that's where you kind of say, look, with the cattle we've got, we might have to go conservative. I'm just trying to produce ideas to say, look, let's try something. We didn't expect the team to make it this far. Weeby's playing on borrowed time. Got to make the most of it. We've got to make the most of it. There could be another one. Yeah. Let's get it done. Yeah, Penrith trainers. If you look, yeah, let's play dirty. Let's play tough. Like let's really play tough. And I agree with this one from Towns. Be ruthless. You know, give them respect, but ultimately ultimately don't respect them. Like, and I think Fish has got something. He'll have to find that level of motivation. I remember when we played the Panthers, and he was gutted at home. So me, if I'm him, I'm like super motivating everyone to like. I don't want to be that embarrassed again, and especially in a finals game. For him, he needs to control. He needs to really control himself. He needs to control that middle. We need to get some control there. Um, Aaron Clark will have to play again. Like you're coming up against Yo and Leota and Mitch Kenny and Liam Martin and those guys. Papa Lee's been playing pretty well. Like we have to match them man for man in that forward pack. And they have elite motors. Dylan Edwards is going to be huge. To'o will be back, no doubt. Casey McLean will be hungry to burn whoever's on that edge. You're probably going to go Catewell there. So let's just see. But if we go man for man, I'll be super impressed. You know. Yeah, let's not say we made it this far. No one thought we would. Let's wait till after the game. We say that we do have a chance. I guess now that we just would believe. Yeah, and we're gonna prepare for it. We got every opportunity now to prepare for it. You know, and I'm just super stoked that the boys have made it here. And like, I'd be love to be proven wrong if the conservative way wins this match. Absolutely. And maybe Webby's honestly, I thought about the Seagulls game and thinking maybe Webby wanted them not to go. I'm not. I was disappointed in that performance, but I was like, okay, maybe they were just trying to save a bit in the bag. But this is it now. This what we've got in this finals will reflect everything that we've been doing this year. So all the reps, all the preparation, everything that they've been training for, they need to leave it all out there. Oh, that'd be great, Team Maggie. That would be absolutely great. Yeah, we can win this one. We can absolutely win it, guys. We can. Let's and let the boys. Um, that's a good one, Wills. Um, catch the Panthers off guard. Yeah, and maybe just we might have to out enthuse the Panthers. They might come, you know, a little bit rusty, or maybe they may come with a few errors to start off the game. We need to, give it our best. Who's the centre, bro? Chance, Liquor, Kate. Well, they're really our only options. Chance plays there. Tane comes in. Kate plays there. TSS and 17. Capes probably seems the most logical one. Yeah, I'll probably put Pompey on Casey McLean. But I think Webby will go with Chance just for yardage and experience. I'd love to see Tane in there, but not right now. I think it's he's going to try and make it a yardage battle. Try go toe to toe in terms of who can grind it out the most. So I think he's probably going to go C and K. Yeah, man, it's going to be massive. It's going to be, we have to be match it physically. We have to magic physically. But I've seen games where we can pull something out, man. My only thing was like I don't think we can chase points with this current team. Like Warriors of old, 02, they could chase down 20 points in 5 minutes. They literally could. I don't think this team has that. It's quite structured. Like one of my pet peeves last week was that there was no follow through the line. Whenever there was a line break, there was no one in support. And I think that's a team that's playing through the set plays or the structure of the plays without thinking of like go at the line with a go to the line with a back rower and see if you can get a hand free and follow through. As a 5/8 or as a halfback, like or a center, go in and support them. You know, and that for me has been disappointing. Is that you see a lot of other teams they'll go to the line expecting the back rower to break through the line and they'll have a support player there. I just think it's almost like we send we give the ball short to the back rower and we already automatically are setting up for the next play, knowing that there's no chance he's going to offload when there could be a chance. That's been my biggest pet peeve is that we're not playing flat on the line at times with support players to get through the lines. We're setting up for the next play, and you know you got to look for opportunities. You really got to look for opportunities when they're there. That's how I kind of see it. Um, but yeah, Bailey, that wouldn't be too bad. That wouldn't be too bad. Did anyone know where the Panthers are staying? Maybe send Susie the waitress to serve their food. What was it? Um when Ash came over, the South Sydney boys were staying at the Ibis, which is in Green Lane. I wonder if that's like a common spot where they stay there. So Ibis Green Lane guys, go put a bit of that put something in the food out there, eh? In the buffet. Do an old Springboks South Africa 95 styles. If nothing else, this might be the one other time slow backline won't be an issue. The Panthers backline is slow as well. Could be. Hopefully bigger minutes for Clark and Fish. I think they need both to be out there as long as possible. Ford is a big addition to our pack too. I actually think Ford was going to be a big difference in this particular game. Yeah, Ibis and Ellerslie. Yeah, and that's where Ash actually stayed there when he came over for the meet and greet. He stayed in Ellerslie, and I picked him up, and all the Rabbitohs Cup team was there, and I was like, whoa. So that's probably where the Panthers will be. So if anyone's at Ibis Ellerslie, you know what to do. Yeah, I mean, Pompey will have a good matchup with Casey. I think that'll be a good little matchup there. I saw a South African team play at Crown. Yep. Did you send them to the worst place to get a coffee? Borden, but Eddie could be out. So does TSS stay? Or yeah, he might stay. I don't think Bunty's coming in, man. I thought Bunty was gonna be. He'd probably be the best kind of experienced head to play a 20-minute role, but they've obviously gone with youth, and I think they'll stick with that. Someone has the flu, maybe you can sneak onto the hotel roof and cough. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh, but he could be. He definitely could be. But yeah, man, I'm still pumped, people. So I'm just going to turn this heater off. I've got it pumping too much at the moment. No, I think I wanted to talk with you guys a lot about this because people have kind of been, I suppose, mentioning it. I mean, SJ's come out and said, back the boys today. Di Henwood's come out and said, you know, we got to stop complaining about the referees' calls and back the boys. Do you think we are too a whining club, a whining fan base? I know we get a lot of flack for it, but in many situations, we do get some rough calls, and I'm not trying to be bias. Even there's somewhere I'm just like, that's blatantly like even the Seagulls one. I thought was a blatant knock on, where the guy got taken over the line, then he turned around, and then when he went to plant it, the ball actually slipped out of his hand forward over the line, and Chris Butler gave him the try. Um, and saying that too, yeah, we were saying we are a bitchy fan base. But at the same time, yeah, not wanting to say only way to influence things in the NRL. Um, yeah, there's a lot of that, um, and I think it's justified at times. And you know me, and Ash as well. We try to play in the middle as much as we can. There are different ones where I'm thinking, "Wow, that was intentional." You know, there was. It seemed as though they almost premeditated a lot of those some of those calls to switch the momentum. So, um, I hate to think that and blind faith for me too isn't the right way either. Where you say, "Oh well, we can move on to the next game." Oh well, guys, it's our year next year. I'm not a big fan of that either. I think you criticize and judge the referees and stuff when they're inconsistent, and at the same time, we need to be better. I think the boys could be a lot better for the majority as well. So there's two sides to it. I see. There's two ways to think of it. Um, Carl saying we just point out on how unbiased the refs are in the bunker. 30 years of it, not only. Yeah, and I think there's that great way of doing it in an accountable way, where you call them out. Um, no, it's rough because we always keep the refs in the game. Wouldn't be an issue if we didn't rely on the last play. Been watching Warriors since '95. To be honest, we are our own worst enemy. Chris got you. To Chris coming from the angle that no, it was actually our fault for the majority, and we can't keep relying on the refs to pull us out of the game. I'm in the same camp as kind of Chris, but I'm always about um in the moment when you can make the right call, you don't. Perfect example was actually the Tamaire head high shot from Salmon last year. The bunker had spent 3 or 4 minutes looking at that, and it was clear and obvious head contact, and they decided not to call that. Those are the ones for me where you could argue in that game, oh, we should have been better, we should have done that. When there was a moment to make the right call with a clear and obvious evidence, they chose not to make that call. So they actually intentionally chose not to give us the call in that situation. Those are the ones that I get really frustrated with. The 50-50s where it's genuine, it could go either way. I'm not so fussed about that. But when the ones that are there to be called and it's quite clear and obvious, you can argue the same with Dimitri in a little bit, although that's probably more of a 50-50. Yeah, those ones are the ones that I kind of find I argue for. And people go, oh well, we should have done this in the first half. Well, I'm thinking, yes, you can always go back to anything. We should have been better anywhere. We shouldn't have. But when there's a chance to make a call that does change the momentum in our favor, and we rightfully have earned it in that moment, those are the calls I always think we should be getting those. And when we don't, that's when I get a little bit upset. I thought about this over the weekend. The Whitey fan base really emerged after one NZ CEO called out the bad umpiring, and the NRL threatened to sue him despite it being legally impossible. True. Yeah, that's another angle too. That's actually another angle. Very, very good point. If it was one of our players who got banned instead of Nico Hines, do you think they would have reversed the ban like they did with him? That is a very good question, Inspector. I can't think of a Warriors way, but I think of Kiwis. Before Anzac tests, we would get quite a few suspensions that you thought, how is that warranted? There's been other moments in big games where they haven't. Was it Billy Slater? They let him off the hook for one of the grand finals. it just seems to be that there is a bias, um, and at the same time, you might argue that they would let us off the hook, Inspector. But yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. That's a great example, actually. People pick on us being a New Zealand team. I think our lack of success hasn't helped as well. Like we get on a roll and then get shot down at the final hurdle. Yeah, it's that we need to win a grand final, isn't it? We need to break that kind of view of us, and it's not until we win that can you can truly break that. But I had this chat with Levon, actually, Levon second, that it's almost like we'll get to a grand final and there'll just be that last hurdle and that big moment. We won't get a call, and it's will forever be nearly men, and not because of our own fault, but because the higher ups will stop us from reaching that final destination. Lots of calls go against us, but at the same time, we put ourselves in tough spot. Yeah, when we give away field position. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Like I agree with it, but also I disagree with it. Like, yes, you're accountable and you should be better, but when there is a moment to call it, it should be called correctly in those moments too. But I get where you're coming from, Sean. Ref doesn't drop the ball. Ref doesn't miss. Yep, Frogger, I agree with that, man. Totally got no issue with that. I'm just saying when the call needs to be made. I think there's the fans that complain that that call ruined the like that they completely ruined the game. I'm not of that mindset. I'm always of the mindset you can majority, and Webby just said this, that you can control your own destiny. You can be fitter, you can be better technically, you can make less errors, you can be mentally sharper to the team, and that will ultimately impact the end result. But when there are calls in the moment, I just want them called. That's all. And even if we lose, then I have no excuse to kind of play it. You know what I mean? But great, Fraga, good to hear your Fukaro. Yeah, there's some howlers. It's quite disappointing, Chris, when you see there's actual howlers across the board. All right. My Irish grandmother said, "Never trust white Australians to give you a fair deal." So I'll never trust the NRL to be fair. She also said that about Parkia. To be honest, I think my Irish grandmother was racist. The amount of forward passes that don't get called in Broncos games is yeah. Yeah. Start Healy or Egan this weekend. I think he's going to go with Egan, right? Egan, there's some players that Webby trusts. Egan's one of those. Webby trusts C&K too, and to an extent. So I think we'll see a spine of C&K. Egan, probably same halves pairing. Yeah. Adrian said the reason the refs give us bad calls is because our team was bad. I think the fact we are not in Australia also plays in the refs' heads, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, that's another. No, but the ref calls are extremely consistent when it comes to us. So the refs ain't missed the tackle or dropped the ball, but please be consistent. Yep. I've always been about consistency. I don't mind if it's the wrong call as long as it's the wrong call for everyone. You know what I mean? That's been one of my big pet peeves as well. Guys, chuck in 45 of you guys in here. If I can get 50 likes before the end of the show, really appreciate it. Got 10 minutes to go. Chuck in any other last thoughts. For me, I can't wait to get to Mount Smart this Saturday. I can't wait to get out there, and I just can't wait to be amongst the fangs and amongst the crowd and really cheer the boys on. It's going to be a tough ask. Keen to see the lineups tomorrow and see what Webby's idea is. But just back, let's get as much positive energy and vibes around the team right now to really kind of motivate and lift them. Would have been cool to have an opening training session. I know that's kind of probably you only do that towards kind of the grand final phase, but I feel it would be nice for the boys to have an open session where fans can come in and show their love and see how the boys are going. But I suppose it's a massive finals game. They want to try maximize every training session, so it probably wouldn't happen. But either way, hoping that we can get a massive turnout to the game. I'm expecting probably a sellout. So yeah, I can't wait for this, man. But T-Mac is saying I would start Healy, run the Panthers ragged, and bring on Egan and go with a Healy Egan. Yeah, that's definitely an option. If you reach like Levon will do a nudie run down his street when we beat the Panthers. I got a pretty quiet street, so I think I'll get away with it. It's a long street though. I don't think I'll go for about a K or two. Maybe if I had a restriction from maybe one road to the the next part of the footpath or across the road and back. Get us 50 likes, people, and you might see a an OnlyFans pop up on your thing. Was Eden Park last weekend for the AB's game? I'm expecting Mount Smart to be one up the atmosphere. They said, wow, that looks like that was a mean game. What date is our game? It's Saturday, yeah. Is this it's this Saturday, Carl? Yeah, it's this Saturday, man. 6:05. Yes. Full moon, yeah. Full moon, all right, yeah. If you watch NRL now and with the 6 against, you will notice refs favor the momentum of the dominant team. And I think 50-50 calls won't go in your favor if you're on the back foot. So, yeah, that's a very good thought, man. That's a very good point. Thought so because it's going to clash with the AB's game, right? I don't think it'll be too much issue. I think most of the Warriors faithful will be at the game. I'm sure it'll be a sellout. Some might watch it at halftime or but I don't expect it. Where's the AB's game being played? Is it in Christchurch or Wellington? If it's in a totally different country, it might just be different part of the country. It might not impact as much. But if it's both in Wellington, yeah, I'm thinking should be right. I think most of Auckland people will be there because it's local and like everyone's got data these days. I'm sure they'll check it on their phone. What's the one change you would make if you're Webster? An actual way I probably would go is I would change to Maire, Tanner. I just don't think he'll do it. Another one would be Lecker to start. I would like to see Lecker to start. But we'll see what happens. Bulldog extension, Serrato and Gould signed to 20. Wow. They're really backing Serrato. I mean, Serrato's had a great run so far. You can't fold him there. Well, he's such a union. Yeah, it's very union down there, isn't it? I wonder if we were supposed to play on Sunday to avoid the AB's clash, but Ricky then threw a tenty. Yeah, because see, they usually always have the knockouts on Sunday as well, wasn't it? Isn't the knockout games are more on the Sunday where they usually play Friday? Maybe Friday, Saturday is usually the top 4 ones. Yeah, interesting. But it's actually a good time for our game. I like that it's 6 and not 8 o'clock. So that's actually a good time for everyone. I think it should sell out, and I think it's a good time. Night games at Mount Smart, especially finals. I think back to was it 08 blackout was massive. That crowd was crazy. I think was it the Knights was a similar time as well in 23. That one might have been a 4 p.m. start on a Saturday. Yeah. So I just got to think about that. Yeah, one knockout game is usually on a Sunday. You bang on. Final thought for me as a fan is now just to believe we will win. So we win this game 22-12 up the Waz. Yeah, it's time. It's time to believe, isn't it, Chris? It's time to believe and time to just back the boys. Like I said, reset, forget everything that happened in the season. Let's just reset and game plan for this and let the boys build. And like for me, Fish, this is like big moment for him. Set the tone and let's just throw it all out there. Throw it all out there. Warriors asked the NRL. Yeah, well, see, this is the thing is that the NRL is the ratings, the viewing is for Sydney audience, the Australian audience. So anything that we get is to suit them. Even Pacific Championships, I think all the games are catered to their audience in Australia. So, you know, there was another problem. Even Anzac tests, we hardly ever got an Anzac test that we played at a time in New Zealand. I think we would have played one, and we never got it at a time frame that was suitable for us. It was always suitable for them. Those are some of the things that you just have to live with as a fan, unfortunately. In the dynasty, um, that too, yeah, the Pacific Champions in the Aussie. So that tells you again they don't really care or value the New Zealand market, and just like they've done that to the Warriors, they have said, look, we value our Aussie audience. Even the 2023 against the Broncos, remember that one was 10 o'clock start here in New Zealand. So that was, they obviously value their viewers in Australia more than us, which is again just goes back to that kind of bias and those types of things. So, but yeah, it's very Sydney centric. I think it might be the same in AFL, isn't it? They're very Melbourne centric. But any last questions before I leave for tonight? I actually can't wait for the team list to come out tomorrow. Yeah, the Irish grandmother was was on the money. But yeah, anything last things before we wrap up? We will obviously um we got a massive show tomorrow, obviously with Ash. Break down that team list. Try to give everything. Ash will have his ideas too of how we could do this game. So come in for that. No watch along. Yeah, I want to try jump on these tickets and see if I can get a ticket. And I just can't wait to get up there on Saturday, man. Last thing I actually want to talk about was the women's. I went to the Wahine game on Sunday at Hamilton. Man, what a great atmosphere. I think we broke the record for the most attended standalone NRLW game of 7,100 and something. And Hamilton gave an average of 6,000, I think it was. So, man, shout out to my city of Hamilton. Waikato delivered this 3 solid games. I would love to see us get the same or even more next year. I think they did a great job. It was 3 tickets for $30, I think it was. So you could buy a 3-game package for $30 per person. So I think that's a massive thing. I mean, the Broncos girls was just class. I mean, Gail's coming back next year, so that'd be great. I believe there's another one coming back as well, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But they've, I mean, they got a lot of heart, those girls. And they're missing their halves right now for sure. But also, I forgot they have Maya Hill Moana there next year. She's had a baby, so she's a good front row. Harat was turned out fantastic. They blooded in a lot of young talent. So next year looks really bright, in my opinion. So, but I would personally, just to be selfish, I would love the Wahine to play, maybe all their home games here in Hamilton, make that kind of their base, if that was to be. But yeah, shout out to Hamilton, man. We turned out, and 7,000 for a standalone game is absolutely wicked. Um, I'm not religious, but I feel as if it's a religious experience, just letting go and having faith. But instead, God or Jesus is Webby's. Let's just have faith in our man Webby. It's a matter of faith, you know. Again, actually, in the finals, I know we actually do quite well when we get in there. You know, as a club, we've had um, a bit of success each time we've been in the finals. So, look, it might be just yeah, let's just put it out there and let's give it a mighty crack. You know. Up the mighty Warriors, yeah. Shout out Tahi. That'll be good next season. Yeah, they need to break that up, don't they? They really do need to break that up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This I keep saying this, but please, we don't want any new boyfriends. You know, so Ivana Lauatiti, stay single for a little bit longer. We don't want any new relationships. We don't want, you know, but there's some amazing talent coming through. Peyton, I was so gutted she knocked it on. I don't think she knocked it on personally, but she's been amazing. And I'm just hoping we sign her up long term. Not sure on a lot of these girls' contracts. We need to actually start signing up because teams will start seeing the talent and thinking, "Oh, we'll take that." Especially the likes of a Roosters and a Broncos. So, anyway, guys, been good chatting with you. It always is. This is a what's it called? Great for me to release my thoughts and as well and get them out there. And you guys are always fantastic to give me that opportunity to share that with you guys. So please hit the like and subscribe before we leave. Yeah, we're on the road to 4K now. So we'll keep pushing for that. And see you tomorrow, Teamless Tuesday. And I appreciate Bailey for sending that code through. I'm going to do that now. Thank you, Bailey. And Luke might have actually sent me some tickets. I'll check that out and see if not, it's all good, brother Luke. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of you. Stay safe. Build into the season, the season, into the finals. Make sure you get your weekends off. Get everything ready for Saturday so you can watch the game or go attend the game. But massive, massive weekend coming up. But up the wires, as always, stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. NZ time. Peace out.